Good morning, my dear students. Today we shall continue the chapter Elements, Compounds and Mixtures. And today I will discuss the mixtures. Okay. And the separation of components of mixtures we will discuss in the next. Okay. So first we have to know what is mixture. When two or more pure substances are mixed thoroughly, okay, by some physical means, okay, or physical process in any proportion, and they do not undergo any chemical change, okay, then it is called mixtures. Like you can think about that salt, sugar mixture, okay. You can think about that sand and salt mixtures. If you add water to salt and sugar, okay, then definitely it is also a mixture. So, in case of sugar, salt and water, if you add water, you will get a clear solution. This is called homogeneous mixtures. Next we are coming, okay, but air, okay, this is also a mixture containing oxygen gas, nitrogen gas, carbon dioxide gas and water vapor. This is also homogeneous mixtures. So mixtures are classified into two main types. One is called heterogeneous mixture, another is called homogeneous mixture. So mixtures are classified into two categories. One is heterogeneous mixtures, another is homogeneous mixtures. Hope you can understand. Now one by one we will discuss slowly. Okay. Now in case of heterogeneous mixture, their components or constituents are not uniformly distributed throughout its volume and can be easily separated, okay, and the components of such a mixture remains clearly visible. Suppose if you add some stone, okay, in rice, generally it remains as impurity. So you can easily separate them. So this is a mixture. Okay, you can think about soil. Soil is a heterogeneous mixture of different types of elements and compounds. Okay, and its composition changes from place to place. Okay, like there will be some in some places there will be red soil. Okay, the color of the soil is red. This is called laterite soil. Okay, that soil may be in some blackish color, black soil. Okay. Now, why it is showing different colors? Because red soil contains a higher percentage of iron compounds, okay. And if you think about the black soil, it contains higher percentage of lime, magnesium, aluminum and iron, okay. As well as a higher percentage of organic matter is there in black soils, okay. So that is why as their composition varies, that is definitely their color will also change. Now, soil generally is a mixture of organic matter, minerals, okay, there may be gases, liquids and organisms, okay. Now we will discuss that different types of heterogeneous mixtures, okay. Suppose we can think about solid. Solid we can give example like stone and rice, sugar and salt. These are the solid homogeneous mixtures. Next we can give the example of solid and liquid. These are heterogeneous. Solid liquid heterogeneous mixture we can give the example of that what we can tell that if you add some salt and if you add some oil, so definitely they will not mix. Okay, this is one kind of heterogeneous mixture. Next, solid and gas. Here you can think about the example of smoke. Smoke contains gases and floating or suspended particles as dust. Okay. Next one is liquid heterogeneous mixture. Liquid heterogeneous mixture we can give example of that oil and water. You can take mustard oil and water. In home you can do it. It will not mix. Okay. Definitely it is heterogeneous mixture. and you can think about that alcohol and oil. This is also heterogeneous mixture. Next we will discuss this homogeneous mixture. Now homogeneous mixture is a mixture in which the constituents are uniformly distributed throughout its volume and cannot be recognized separately, okay, and it's called a homogeneous mixture. Here you can think about the sugar solution, okay. So when you are taking some amount of crystal sugar, okay, and if you are dissolving in water, here sugar is called solute and water is called solvent, and after mixing that solute and solvent you are getting the solution. So in solution we cannot identify the sugar molecules by our eyes, okay, but if you evaporate the water you will get back the sugar crystals, okay. Actually this type of solutions are called true solutions, okay, where the particle size is below 1 nanometer, that is 1 into 10 to the power minus 9 meter. But heterogeneous mixtures are usually found in the form of suspension, where the particle size is greater than 100 nanometer. We can give the example like chalk dust and water, that muddy water, okay, these are examples of heterogeneous mixtures, okay. Next we will give the examples of heterogeneous mixture. First we will give solid and solid heterogeneous mixture. Solid and solid homogeneous mixture. Heterogeneous mixture we have already given. Next we will give the homogeneous mixture, okay, that solid homogeneous mixture. Here we can use that, give the example of alloy. Suppose bronze, alloy is a mixture of metals, okay, so you have to melt these two metal, and if you mix it and if you again cool it, then you will get that alloy. So bronze is a mixture of copper and tin, okay. Brass is mixture of copper and zinc, so these are alloy. Even whatever we are wearing, that is the gold rings, okay, so pure gold is very soft metal, so here we have to use impurity like silver and copper, okay, to make it hard. Then ornaments we can prepare easily, but pure gold is not suitable for making ornament. Next we will discuss that solid and liquid. Now solid liquid homogeneous mixture, what example we can give? That salt solution, okay, salt is solid and water is there, that is the liquid, okay, or sugar solution. Next one we will give that liquid mixture. Liquid, but it should be homogeneous. So here we can give the example of two mineral oil like kerosene oil and petrol oil. We can give the example of water and methanol, that is water and alcohol, okay. So this is a homogeneous mixture. Next we will give the example of gas and liquid. Now gas liquid, what will be the example? Gas liquid we can give that carbon dioxide gas dissolved in the soft drinks like Thumbs Up, Coca-Cola, okay. This is one example of gas liquid homogeneous mixture. Or we can give example of oxygen gas dissolving in water, okay, this is also gas liquid homogeneous mixture. Next one is the gas homogeneous mixture. All of you know that air is a homogeneous mixture, okay, and in air different types of gases are present like nitrogen, oxygen, carbon dioxide gas, okay, and there also water vapor is present. So this is a homogeneous mixture. So if you give the example of air, then it is a homogeneous mixture. Others we can tell that like milk, tap water, honey, ice cream, okay, all are homogeneous mixtures. Tea are considered, okay, as homogeneous mixtures. Tap water is not pure because it contains minerals. Ink is also a homogeneous mixture because it contains mixture of different types of organic dyes. Okay, milk is also a mixture, homogeneous mixture. It contains fat, carbohydrates, proteins, salts, minerals, water, etc. And honey also a homogeneous mixture, and honey contains that fructose, glucose, maltose, different types of carbohydrates, waters, minerals, vitamins and enzymes. Okay. And if you think about the ice cream, okay, ice cream contains fat, carbohydrates, waters, stabilizers, and there may be different types of flavors, okay. So all these are examples of homogeneous mixtures. Next we will discuss the characteristics of mixtures. characteristics of mixture. First we can tell that in mixtures the components are just mixed with each other, okay, physically, but there is no bond formation like chemical bond, okay, between the different components. So here components retain their individual properties. Here if you make a mixture of salt and sugar, if you taste it, then you will get the taste of both salty taste, and you will also get the sweet taste of the sugar, okay. So it indicates that the components retain their properties and not forming any new substances, okay. Next, second option or second point we will tell that mixtures don't have any fixed amount of components. So here one activity is given in your book that take 3 glasses, okay. So you have to take 3 glasses. This is glass 1, this is glass 2, and all glasses will be same size and same volume of water you have to take inside it. So this is glass 1, this is glass 2 and 3, and all are filled with water in same volume, that half of this glass is filled with water. Now what we will do, we will add 1 teaspoon full of lime juice. We are adding juice. First we are adding that 1 teaspoonful of lime juice, and in the second glass we will add 2 spoons of lime juice, and in the third glass, okay, in the same volume of water we will add 3 spoons of lime juice, okay. Now you start with a stirrer, okay, to of the 3 glasses to make a homogeneous mixture. Now if you taste the 3 different portion or different proportion of this solution or 3 different solutions, you will find that all samples are sour. This glass 1, glass 2, glass 3, all solutions are sour in taste, but the degree of sourness is different, okay. In glass 1 the degree of sourness is less because we have added only 1 teaspoon of lime juice, okay, and in case of glass 2 it will be greater degree of sourness will be greater compared to glass 1, because here we have added 2 teaspoonful of lime juice, and in glass 3 the degree of sourness will be the highest because here we have added 3 teaspoonful of lime juice. Hope you can understand. So from this thing we can understand that mixtures don't have any fixed amount of components, okay, and if we add in different amount of components, okay, in different mixtures, okay, so definitely in this case their property, a little bit of property will be different. That means here degree of sourness, okay. Hope you can understand what I told. Next we will discuss the another thing, that the components of mixtures can be separated by simple physical methods, okay. Here no complex method is required, okay, like salt solution. If you take some salt solution, suppose this is your salt solution taking in a glass, round bottom glass, okay, round bottom flask, okay. Now here one salt solution is present. Now here what you have to do, you have to add some condenser. That is water condenser, okay. And here you are passing water. Here you have to apply heat. Okay, then what will happen? So after some time that all water will evaporate, and here we are passing water, and because of this water vapor will cool down and will be collected in a beaker, and finally here you will get some residue. So if you heat a solution with a water condenser, that means salt solution with water condenser, you will get the distilled water separate, as well as you will get the salt as residue inside this round bottom flask. So in this way you can easily, by some physical method, you can separate the components of mixtures. Hope you can understand. Okay, so different other methods are there, like if there is a mixture of sodium chloride and ammonium chloride. Okay, in the next day we will discuss. And here just by heating, ammonium chloride has sublimation property, and you will get the ammonium chloride as sublimate. Okay, if you just place one inverted funnel, you will get all the ammonium chloride, okay, in the funnel when you will apply heat this mixture, and the sodium chloride is not sublimable, it will remain as residue, okay, inside the heating container. Okay, so in this way, by physical means you can easily separate. Okay, next we will discuss that melting point or boiling point. So in case of pure compound there is a fixed melting point, boiling point, but in case of mixture their melting point, boiling point is not fixed. We can give example like pure water boils at 100 degrees centigrade, but if you take salt solution, definitely it will boil at higher temperature than 100 degrees centigrade. So from here you can understand. And mixtures can be heterogeneous, already we have discussed, or homogeneous. And during the formation of mixture there will be no exchange of energy or energy change. Okay, so now we will discuss the difference between the mixtures and compound. Difference between mixtures and compounds. First of all, mixture is not a pure compound, okay, not a pure substance, but compound is a pure substance. So a compound is always pure, but mixture is not pure. And a compound always homogeneous, okay, but mixture may be homogeneous or it may be heterogeneous, okay, it is not fixed. In compound the composition of elements are fixed, okay, like in water, if you take the number of atoms, only 2 hydrogen and 1 oxygen is present in one water molecule. But in the mixture the components are not fixed. You cannot tell that this particular proportion, if you are mixing in that particular proportion, then you can tell this is fixed, but anytime you can change. Hope you can understand. Next, formation of compounds involves change in energy. So definitely it is a chemical type of reaction, okay, chemical reaction. In chemical reaction there may be evolution of heat or there may be absorption of heat, okay. So definitely there is some chemical change, but when we are preparing mixture, this does not associated with the energy change. There will be no energy change, there will be no evolution of heat or absorption of heat. Hope you can understand. Next, compounds have definite molecular formula. Like water, you can give that H2. Like ammonia, you can write NH3. Okay, but in case of mixture, you cannot give in compound. So you have to give separately. Okay, so there is no formula for mixture. Only for compound there is a fixed formula. Okay, a particular formula. Now elements of compounds can be separated only by complex chemical process. Okay, suppose if you pass electricity through water, acidulated water, then you will separate the mixture of hydrogen and oxygen. But it is not a simple process, okay, complex chemical process. But in case of mixture, that can be separated by any physical method. Suppose 2 liquids are mixed, okay, by distillation method you can easily separate. And next day we will discuss this thing. Next one very important activity is given, okay, in your book. Okay, when you will go to lab, that time I can demonstrate because these components are not here. So what you have to do in this case, okay, that you have to mix iron and sulfur. Suppose iron dust is there or iron fillings is there and there is sulfur dust. Suppose if you take 56 gram iron and if you mix it with 32 gram of sulfur powder, then you will get a mixture. And this mixture you can easily separate by taking a magnet. Okay, magnet will attract the iron particles but cannot attract the sulfur particle. So in this way, by magnetic separation you can easily separate. But if you heat this mixture, iron sulfur, if you apply heat, then there will be formation of a black or brownish type of compound that is called ferrous sulfide. So in ferrous sulfide there will be no property of iron and sulfur. So it will not be attracted by the magnet. So here you cannot easily separate. So this is a compound. Okay, a new black compound is formed after heating of iron fillings and sulfur. So here is some chemical change. Definitely there will be energy changes. Okay, so FeS is not a mixture but a compound. So in this way we can easily understand the difference between mixture and compound. You can understand. And today up to this, and next day we will discuss the different methods for separation of mixtures. Thank you.